What up? Welcome into the DFS Siko.S show. More money's more problems. We got your host. We got Cassidy. We got Smitty. We got your boy B. I told you call me whatever you wanted last time, especially loser, but you're gonna call me champ this week. Let's go, boys. Cassidy, give your boy some props. What's up?
That's right, man. We usually start off talking about the podium, and this week we have a first. We haven't seen this yet. We've got Barm sitting at the very, very top of the podium. He had some pretty clutch plays that differentiated him from the pack, and he took down the number one spot. I guess I might as well round out the podium. You have Hillary, and then I snuck into third place there at the very end.
Oh, well,
I love it. I love it. Back-to-back weeks, we got two people on the podium on the pod, so that's awesome. Smitty, what's up, man? How are you doing? Let's jump onto your side.
All right, so I'm paying two water bets today. Last week, I was last place in this amongst us three. And then the week before Turkey Day, I also took in last. So, one, two.
Nice. Stacking water bets, that's pretty smart because then you only get wet once, really.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like once. It didn't feel like once. Oh.
I don't know. I guess I'll count it.
Oh, we got to do it. But last week was fun. Not gonna lie, that's my first year. This is my first year in DFS, so that's the first time I've actually won a pop. But I want to tell you boys a story. Okay, I had a really good week in DFS last week. So right before kickoff, about 15 minutes, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go join this big ass tournament that's got a $3 million payout. Messing around in there. Yeah, kind of did the toilet, set up the lineup, you know what I mean? So get done. I'm feeling good, just kind of looking in, peeping in all week. Gets done with the main slate. I'm third place in this tournament. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I just won some big ass bucks. I get in, look at it. I put my lineup in the wrong damn tournament, dude. I put it in a tournament where you just doubled your money inside of it. So half the league doubles their money and half doesn't. And I took fucking third, dude. I went back. I would have taken fourth in the other tournament, and I would have had something around a $500,000 payout. So I'm
What the F? No.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I've been waiting to tell you boys that one. I am furious that I did that by mistake. But moral of the story is
crazy,
I was on the toilet. All right, so let's do this. We got the podium. We got the podium. So tell me a little bit about these players. Finally, I keep saying read my lineup off for the losers. Let's read it off for the winners. Who we got? Who crushed?
That's funny. I guess it's good for the fantasy sickos that you didn't win $500,000. Otherwise, you'd be off in the Bahamas somewhere. They wouldn't have a podcast anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think to podium last week, he needed to play Brock Purdy. He was $6,100. He threw four touchdowns. He had 32 DraftKings points. That was key. I think you had to have Tyreek. He was expensive. He was $9,600, but with 35 DraftKings points, he more than 3x'd on his salary. You had to have him. But I think some things that distinguished Brian and put him on first. Laporta. Nobody played Laporta. He was $5,600. He had 32 points. Getting that at the tight end position is going to separate you from the pack. And I talk about that. He was a middle-priced tight end. I never play those guys. But this week it worked. That was excellent. And then Debo. We had an argument or a debate, at any rate, last week about which of the 49ers wide receivers to play. And it was Debo, dude. 39 DraftKings points. That was insane. I think he had like 9 touches in the game. He had 3 touchdowns. It was bonkers. So
we
those were your
debated
clutch plays.
So we debated who was the wide receiver one, not who was the play of the week. I am going to say it. Debo Samuel's the wide receiver one on that football team. I'm taking it back. It was, I told you it was going to be a high T game for Debo, man. And you're right. That offense runs around him big time.
It does.
So,
it does, yeah.
He is the wide receiver one. Who are the anchors, though? Who anchored anchored the squads?
Yeah, man, there were some major disappointments that actually got played a lot. The biggest one was Ramondre. Dude, so many people were on Ramondre. Now, that's kind of not fair because he got injured. Same with Tank. Those guys were popular plays, and they got hurt. That sucks, but because of that, they failed. Keenan was a popular play. He was $9,000, dude. He only had 10 DraftKings points. That was a bummer. And then other guys that were really popular, Jalen Waddle, Smitty, if you tried to get different and get off Tyreek, Waddle didn't work out. If you tried to get off Pittman like I did and play Downs, that didn't work out. So those guys – oh, and there's one more. There's one more big one, dude. I don't know what's going on with their boy Austin Eckler, but people played Eckler, and I don't think they're going to play him anymore. $8,300, and he got you 4 DraftKings points.
Have the wheels fallen off for Awesome Eckler? Is he no longer awesome? Is he just Austin now?
Something has happened. I think we see another big game out of him before the season's over, but he won't be in my lineup when that happens.
Right.
So is it, and this is just fantasy, forget DFS, because I do want to talk some Eckler. Have the wheels fallen off? Is it the offensive line? Are they stacking the box? What the hell is going on? Because I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of Chargers games, so I haven't really looked in detail on that one, but this is an epic,
Yeah.
fall from grace right now.
Yeah. He doesn't look the same. I don't know what you guys have observed. He just doesn't have the same pop, the same explosiveness. You see that a lot after high ankle sprains, and he got lucky with some touchdowns earlier in the season after that high ankle. But if you just watch his performance, and granted, dude, that team is struggling in general. I mean, Keenan and Eckler can't keep that whole team afloat, but he does not look the same.
No, but Eckler has kept the team afloat before.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. I don't know what's going on there, but again, reason why we don't draft running backs early. Smitty, what do you think about those anchors? Who was it? Anybody in your lineup that just killed you last week? I didn't even really fully remember your lineup this morning.
I chose a bunch of freaking wide receiver twos, and I watched Waddle that game because I stacked him with Tua, and I just couldn't believe how. I'm not gonna say inefficient. I'm not gonna do that to Waddle, but man, his targets look garbage. I mean, I feel bad for Tyreek. I mean, I feel bad for Waddle owners in fantasy because I understand now that is a struggle.
Yeah, you just had to get on board that Tyreek train, dude. It was like the writing was on the wall. Everyone knew Tyreek was going to go big that game. I mean, everyone in the media, everyone was talking about the 2,000-yard pace. I mean, you know that the team's going to try to get him there. You just got to get behind it, dude. Tua was a good play. He paid off his salary at 7,600, but you could have gone down to Purdy, 1,000, a little bit more than it was like 1,500 less, and he had 10 more points.
Oh my god, I know it. I know it. I just I'm not there with Purdy yet. Just personally, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Is Jalen Waddle even startable in fantasy football, Smitty?
See, that's the question I would have known.
Not DFS, just fantasy, just for right now. We'll go DFS.
Yeah.
He's not startable in DFS at the moment, but fantasy, I mean, he's just gone. Tyreek has wiped him off the face of the universe.
He truly
Yeah.
did. And I'll say this: Waddle is definitely a bust, but I don't know. He's gonna have his games where he's like a wide receiver 2 at the least, wide receiver 3 at best. I think that's where his range is. So yeah, I think it's time to sit him. There's better options out there.
Those
Yeah.
twos, man. Those twos, they're all bust. All those big boy twos out there.
Even Waddle.
So,
yeah.
all right, Cassidy, give us. So you've podiumed 2 weeks in a row now. One of them was a victory. What's your advice to us? Hit us with something that can help us here because you're really coming alive here these last 3-4 weeks.
I think what we're talking about here is really helpful. Just about what were the best plays, what were the worst plays, who played what. And maybe you guys, like all the people listening to this, don't really know how to do that. But this is actually just really cool advice of how to use the DraftKings app. Every week after the week is over, you can go to my contests and click on recent, and you'll see all the contests you entered. You can go into any one of those contests, and on the top bar, you can click players. And you can see all the different players that were played in that contest. And you can sort it by their salary high to low. You can sort it by their score high to low. But here's what I really like. You can also sort it by popularity high to low. And so you can see who are these people playing, how much did they cost, and whether or not they paid off their salary. And you can start to track patterns and kind of see what are your opponents doing, what kind of moves are they making. And then like when I tell you guys like to get different or to inject volatility or whatever it is, like what does that even mean? This is a good way to figure that out. So I do think that reflecting, and I've kind of talked about this before, but I do think reflecting on the last week and not just going into the next week blind really helps you make educated decisions on how to play moving forward.
So is that I don't use that tool as in depth as you just talked about that. So is that app based on your phone or is that just web based for DraftKings?
You know it's weird. I hate DraftKings on the computer. It's excellent on the phone. The app is great. Their website kind of blows.
It's
you
like
can get all
Sleeper.
that stuff. It's just not as intuitive.
Yeah, Sleeper also sucks web-based version, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with them, but all right, so let's get into it. Smitty, who you got as your cash lock? I know we'll read them off here in a little bit, but hit me with some wisdom. Oh, you know what? Before we read this, Cassie, I'm going to hit you. I believe there's 2 free squares on the board this week. Who are they?
Oh, dude, you found free squares? My cash lock is different. So why don't you?
Okay,
tell me?
I got 2. But Smitty, you'll read yours first then.
All right, so I found 3 different free squares, and I'm gonna choose the least obvious, who is Browns defense. I have Browns defense. They got Myles Garrett for 3,000. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I think, if you're talking about, I want to hear yours. If you're talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm off now. Or maybe you're talking about McKinnon. But I'm
Yeah,
off those
that's
guys.
another one. That's number 2.
Yeah,
And then
I
number
don't know.
3.
What else?
I like it. I like it.
So who is the cash lock for you then? Is it Denver? Or sorry, is it Cleveland? Is
You know
that your
what's really
cash lock?
funny? No, it's not. It's the same as last week. I know. I told you guys Moss was a lock at
Really?
4,600, and I know he didn't come through, but we're not looking at the box score. We're looking at perfields, and his usage was 100% there. He's 5,900 this week. That's still too cheap. It's too cheap for somebody getting his usage. He's an absolute lock.
Smitty, who's your cash lock? I like it.
Drake London for 46. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's kind of the cash log, right?
he's
So
too
I'm
jaded
gonna
by London.
I'm gonna take it you don't have London on some fantasy football teams like regular redraft or dynasty, Smitty, because
Not at all.
that boy has burned me. I have put him in a DFS lineup so many times this year, but I'm sure he's gonna go off, man. You know what? I'm going to take my cash lock of the week. I'm going to take. I thought this was a pretty damn free square for me. I'm going Evan Ingram at $4,800. They got no
Wow.
one to pass the ball to. He's got to step up. The dude's got a killer target share for that. So 4,800. I'm gonna stick that into my tight end spot.
Is it going to be CJ Beathard throwing the ball or
I don't care.
T-Law?
I don't care.
Or
I don't
it might
care.
be good if it's Beathard, honestly.
I honestly just don't care. He's gonna get targets. That's just
Yeah.
period. He's gonna get targets. That's where I'm at with that. But there
He got
was
his first
another free
touchdown.
share. Yeah. So let's read off some lineups here, boys. So let's go quarterbacks. Cassidy, hit me with your quarterback.
This is a total ceiling play. I'm going Justin Fields. He was $6,800. He's going up against Detroit. He faced Detroit 2 weeks ago. He ran for 104 yards. He threw for 168 yards. He threw in a touchdown. He scored 30-something DraftKings points. And so I'm going for the top spot this week, and I'm going for the ceiling play with Fields.
I've had Fields in my lineup for the last 3 days, and I pivoted off of that about 9:30, so about 30 minutes ago. I pivoted off of that because
Back to Purdy.
it's pretty much the weather. It's not horrible, but it's also Justin Fields and a little bit of weather, so I had to pull that one back. Who you got, Smitty?
So I did the same thing you did, Brian. I had Justin Fields, and my whole lineup just was centered around him. And then, like 30 minutes ago, like you said, I just completely changed this thing and went for a completely different game. I have Josh Allen for 8,300.
Paid up,
Wow.
buddy. Paid up. You
He's
paid
not messing
up.
around.
That game is
Oh, my God.
important to him.
That's a
Oh,
season
don't-
play. Yep.
He performs.
Yeah.
Don't even read it off yet, but I can't wait to see who you're stacking that with.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see if you bought up on Diggs or you're going to go. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Maybe Gabe, or oh, it's going to be great. So, Cassie, you are correct. I went right back to the well. Will the NFL and DFS and everybody in this world give Brock Purdy some credit? The man does not deserve to be $6,500 on any site right now. This is
I
a
know.
top
It's crazy.
4 quarterback in the NFL who is on fucking fire in an interdivisional game against a team that they want to kill. So back to the well, baby. Brock Purdy, sign it up. Smitty, I know you love
Nice.
it. Let's go some RB. Smitty, why don't you read off your
Amazing
RBs?
value play. Shout out to Purdy. So here's where the stat comes in. I got James Cook for 6,000 and Jerick McKinnon for 48.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh,
I do like that. I do like that a lot. I like those RBs. Who you got, Cassidy?
All right, I'm going to go Joe Mixon. He's facing Indianapolis. He had a huge week last week with Browning under center. They seem to really like targeting Mixon. He's $6,100. And then the lock of the week, I told you guys, Zach Moss. Even though it didn't come through last week, I think it does this week. $5,900. He gets every rush carry. He gets targeted. I think he gets a touchdown this week.
So-
two running backs in the same game. I love that.
Yep. So who
Yeah.
wins that game and what RB scores more in that matchup?
I think Cincinnati's going to be able to win it, and I think Mixon will outscore Moss, but we'll see.
Want to water bet that? I'll take the exact opposite side.
No, I definitely don't want to water bet that.
What?
This is one of those weird battle of the backup quarterbacks. You never know what's going to happen.
I know. All right, so I'll read my running backs off. Free square was McKinnon this week for me. When he plays, he's valuable to that team. And has anybody actually watched Clyde Edwards-Helaire? And it's not that he's not productive. The dude's fat. The dude is fat and out of shape on a football field. Like, he legitimately is fat. I don't know how
He's
he's
so
still on
slow.
the field.
He's so slow. It's weird.
Yeah, he's turned into what Zach Moss used to be to Jason Moore, like the bowling ball and the it's horrible. So I went McKinnon there. And we've got to pay attention. We got something going on this week. We got a revenge game going. Who's the revenge game, Smitty? You know?
Demont.
Yes, sir. Opportunity, dude. Let's pound it to the Bears. Let's do it. Heavy T, revenge game. David Montgomery at 6,400. First time he's entering a DFS lineup for me this year. Let's let it rock. Cassidy, read off your 3 wide receivers.
All right. I stacked with Justin Fields, DJ Moore. He went off last time they faced Detroit, so I'm into that. On the other side of that, I got the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And to fit those guys in, I had to pay down a little bit for your boy, Drake London, facing Tampa, $4,600.
I agree the value's there. I agree
This is
the
one of
value's
those
there.
weeks. He has good weeks, and I think this is one of them.
I agree. I couldn't do it.
Because
Smitty, who you got
Tampa
for
is
your-
29th against wide receivers, by the way.
I'm just jaded. Who you got for your 3 wide receivers? I can't play him again. I don't think he's ever going to enter a lineup this year for me.
So,
I don't blame you.
So yeah, I remember in the main pod I said Alec Pierce was the deep down guy. No, you reminded me that no, he's a true route runner. So I think I'm gonna go for the deep down guy, Josh Downs for 4,900, Drake London for 4,600, and wow, Dubcast, you officially convinced me. Elijah Moore for 4,500. I went cheap on these receivers, and I love what you said about Elijah Moore in the last pod. You got me.
You're gonna have a nasty flex. I don't know what your flex is gonna be, but it's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be something awesome. It's probably Christian McCaffrey.
I think you'll agree. But I think you'll love this guy.
Okay.
So Elijah Moore really grew on me after I got done doing that pod last night. Like all night long, I was thinking about putting him in this DFS lineup. I almost did, but I'm not hating on it the way I was on that pod last night. So I'm gonna give some 3 wide receivers some credit here. So we're gonna throw in Brandon Ayuk as my stack because you know what, Debo went off last week. So you know what, I'm gonna pay up, get the more expensive one because Brandon Ayuk's still a big part of this offense. So got my stack. I'm gonna bring back the stack because I believe something inside DK Metcalf has woken up. And he is pissed that he is not considered one of the top 10 best receivers in this football game any longer. Something has clicked in this man, and I believe it's going to be around pay me in the offseason. So I'm going DK Metcalf to bring back the stack. And Smitty, I'm 100% with you. Forget the route runner on that side. This is a Josh Downs game. I believe it's going to be. So those are my 3 wide receivers. Ayuk, Metcalf, Downs. I'll read off my tight end. I already did that. Evan Ingram, $4,800. That's my cash lock of the week. Cassie, who do you got for your tight end?
Well, I'm pretty sure Smitty can agree with me here. The Rams are terrible at stopping the tight end. They're facing Baltimore this week. I'm going likely. He's $3,500, and I just love the matchup.
You're not worried about the weather in that game?
I am a little bit, but I actually think that benefits likely. He's going to get, those short targets near the line of scrimmage.
I don't even think you're going to need to pass the ball in this football game.
They might not need to.
Sorry, Smitty, my bad. Anyway, who's your tight end?
I bet I can guess it. I bet I can guess Smitty's. Brevin Jordan.
You know what? He was in it earlier, but I had to pay up for the bringing back the stack man, Mr. Taylor Swift himself. Travis Kelce at 48.
No way. There's where the money went. I knew there was something big coming down the pipeline.
Wait, did you just read off Kelce?
Yeah. Woo!
Next pod, we're going to talk about Kelce if he doesn't go off this week because we might have to be retiring that as the greatest tight end ever this year. He's slowing down here. Let's go flex. Who you flexing? Who you flexing, Smitty?
Joe Mixon, your boy.
Nice. I love it. You got a strong flex. That's solid. All right. I got a pretty high upside flex here. This is a boom bust play, but it's the volatility that we're looking for. I'm going Rashee Rice, going up against Buffalo, 5,400. I think his arrow's pointing up.
I was thinking about putting him in my lineup big time. I do believe his arrow is pointing up, but the only problem is he's not explosive. Which I know we're on the flex side of it, but I don't think there's huge ceiling unless he gets like 3 10-yard touchdowns. He's not going to drop a 60-yarder to the house. I don't think.
Great, let's get him 3 10-yard touchdowns.
Yeah,
especially with Pacheco out of the game, I think that benefits him. So,
no, I agree. There's no explosiveness on that offense whatsoever. I mean, it's crazy when you watch it. There's nothing that's like explosive, and in the record showing it. Sorry.
Talking real quick about the Chiefs, I just had a quick question. Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire a Beach Boy? Should we have? We should have thrown him in. Would any of you guys start him this week?
He's not a
I
beach
am
boy.
starting him this week.
Dude, he's on one of those sandals, all you can eat, like just vacations right now. And he's put on 20 pounds with just eating all day. I mean, dude, he is fat as hell. I cannot believe he's still on a football field. It's insane. I can't get over it. I was watching him last week. I'm like, dude, we talk about Fat Thor and Josh Jacobs. Like, this dude's just fat, fat,
Yeah.
fat, dude.
That's what happens
All
when you
right,
spend 2 years on the bench, I guess.
right? Yeah, so man, he's the ultimate beach boy, but he can't even take the shirt off. He's so embarrassed these days. So Smitty, you already read your
We
flex.
all,
Who's up on
do
a
we
flex?
all do we all have the? He's got Joe Mixon. Do we all have the same defense?
Is it
Yeah, I
Browns?
got to read my flex. Zach Moss, I'm
Oh yeah,
flexing on
nice.
there, and I'm sure we've all got the Browns. I think that's a really good matchup.
Yeah, that was such an obvious play. It was like, how do you not?
That's
How do you
pretty
not
square.
start the Browns? They got Myles Garrett back. Um, yeah, they got Ward
And I
back.
believe
They
there's going
also
to be
have
They're
some
at
weather in
home.
that game.
Yeah, they might be facing C.J. Beathard or hobbled up T-Law. It's a good play.
I agree. This week, everybody, pay attention to your weather out there. We got a lot of games that have some snow, got some things, but we're going to find out in the Chicago game if what they keep saying on the ballers that 15-mile-an-hour gusts make the difference, because we're supposed to have 13 to 14 in that game, which I pivoted off. So we'll see if we can play. But here we go. Let's read up our lineups. Let's get out of here. Everyone enjoy it. So I'm going Brock Purdy, David Montgomery, Jared McKinnon, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, Evan Ingram, Zach Moss, and Browns on the defensive side of it. Smitty, read your lineup and let's get out of here.
All right, we got Josh Allen, the Stallion, James Cook, Jarek McKinnon, Josh Downs, two Joshes, Drake London, Elijah Moore, Travis Taylor Kelsey, Joe Mixon, and the Browns.
Nice.
Is Swift at the game? Is Taylor Swift at the game this week?
That's
Oh,
gonna
man,
matter.
good question. It does not matter. You're right. But
No, it
good
does.
point.
It's going to matter. 100%. It matters.
They're not going to drop 2 games and play like crap with Taylor in back-to-back games. So, Smitty, you're either going to win or lose based on whether or not Taylor Swift's at that game. Cassie, read them
Yeah.
off for me.
Great. I'm going Justin Fields, Joe Mixon, and Zach Moss, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, DJ Moore, Drake London, Isaiah Likely, Rashee Rice, and the Browns.
That's a pretty solid lineup.
Oh, God, man, that might be the difference maker.
Let's see.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out, boys, tomorrow.
I think you got a really good chance of hitting your third podium this week, Cassidy. I really
Let's do it.
Smitty and me got all the volatility in there. We're either going big or going home.
Yeah.
See,
All right, any last words?
Yes. Play DFS. Submit your
Play
lineups.
DFS. Sickos, let's go. Come on. Sorry for the late pod this week, by the way. All right, everybody, good luck this week, and come get your champion from last week right here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.